Hi, I'm Masa and I am the creator of DIY Stitches. I am here today to teach you about pressing tools. Now, it's so important to get yourselves pressing tools. You need more than just an ironing board and an iron. So I'm going to go over with all the different type of tools that there are out there for you to use for your pressing. And these are your pressing tools.
So I'm just going to show you the muslin fabric first because it's so important to have your muslin fabric. The reason why you need a piece of muslin fabric is because if you're using polyesters or you're using a synthetic fabric like Lycra, anything that is easy meltable, you want to put a barrier, a cotton barrier like muslin between whatever you're pressing and that, even your silks and even your wools, because sometimes what will happen is it'll actually indent. If your iron's too hot, it'll actually singe it. So you want to have some type of cotton barrier between your garment and your iron. All right, so here's your ironing board. Now notice it's a simple fabric, plain fabric. I do not get prints. The reason why you don't want to get a print is simple. The print can eventually transfer onto your garment due to the high heat from your iron. Also, you want to get a good mat to go underneath your ironing cover because the grid on your ironing board with high pressure and heat, it will actually transfer that waffle-like marking onto your garment and you can't get it off once that transfer happens. This is your tailor's board. The reason why you have a tailor's board is because you need to be able to press smaller items with this board, like your cuffs or your collar, those type of areas that are a little bit smaller and harder to get to. These are the pressing tools you need to get that seam flattened. It has a lot of different shapes, and this tailor's board is used for those smaller areas on your garment. I wish I could be a spokesperson for Rowenta because these are the best irons out there for home sewing. These have some of the highest temperatures you can get on an iron and has one of the best steaming features I've ever seen besides an industrial iron. This is a sleeve board. The reason why you have a sleeve board is because the table, your ironing table, is usually too wide for you to be able to put your sleeve or your pant leg over it to press that inner seam. This way you got the ability to slide either your pant or your sleeve on top of the board, and then you can press the seam nice and flat this way. You can use this also with your skirts, of course, because unless you have a really wide skirt, most likely you're not going to be able to fit it over your ironing board. This is your tailor's ham. A tailor's ham is used for your hips, your breast area, any type of curve like in your groin area when you're doing your pants. This gives you that ability to press those curved areas nice and flat. This is excellent for the armholes, the sleeves, the um, collars, your neckline, that sort of thing. So this comes in very handy for pretty much any garment. This gives you the ability to press it nice and flat without wrinkling up all the rest of the fabric that's near that curved edge. This is a presser's clapper, and the reason we have one of these is that sometimes when you're pressing a garment, you don't want to leave your iron on your fabric for too long because it's either a synthetic or a very thin type of fabric. So what you do is you take this wood piece and you actually grab it on the sides and then you press on top of the seam that traps the heat in order for you to keep the heat still on your garment without burning it. Okay, so this actually helps you flatten your seams a lot better when you use it for pressing. This is a velvet board, and the reason why we use this is because it has these little pins in it, almost like to stick up in the sky, and it enables you to take your right side of your velvet with the piles of fabric and be able to press your velvet without crushing your velvet. This is very important to have if you do work with velvet. This is a sleeve roll, and what this does has the same pretty much effect as a sleeve board. So you slide this inside your sleeve to press your seams or even your pant leg or your skirt, but I am more of a fan of the sleeve board than the sleeve roll. The sleeve roll has fabric, as you can see, and this fabric tends to kind of cling onto fabrics that you're sewing, so it's a little bit harder to insert it in your arm or your sleeve or your pant leg. So between the sleeve board and the sleeve roll, I prefer the sleeve board, but I still do use this once in a while. This is a presser's mitt, and the reason why we use a presser's mitt is when you attach your sleeve into your armhole, it's easier to press the cap of your sleeve with using one of these. What you do is basically tuck your hand underneath the underarm into your cap of your sleeve where the seam is that attaches your that is your sleeve attached to your armhole, and then you press that seam flat with one of these.
Thanks so much for coming today. Thanks for watching, and please, if you have any comments or questions, please put it into the comment section below. I promise to get back to you. And please like my page at DIY Stitches on Facebook and on YouTube with DIY Stitches. Thanks again, take care, and see you soon.